Max Blumenthal is a journalist and author of the book Goliath, Life and Loathing in Greater Israel. He joins us once again from Washington, D.C. So, Max, we heard what Khalid Mashal, the Hamas leader, had to say. Would you say that hopes of a ceasefire anytime soon have now dissipated?
There have never been any hopes for a serious ceasefire. The U.S. hasn't introduced a proposal that could have generated a real lasting ceasefire, and the U.S. made no effort to pressure Israel against violating the terms of the 2012 ceasefire. That's why you heard Mashal declare that the assurances from the U.S. are not credible, because what Hamas is primarily seeking, according to the terms that I've seen, is, besides the lifting of the siege, is the enforcement of the 2012 agreement that Israel agreed to, which Israel has reneged on repeatedly, attacking fishermen from the Gaza Strip, attacking residents of the Gaza Strip in the buffer zone, bombing and shelling the Gaza Strip during periods when there were no rockets being authorized into Israel from Hamas. And so the residents of the Gaza Strip seem to be, even if they don't support the political goals of Hamas, on the side of continuing this military engagement until they can extract serious concessions that will produce a lasting ceasefire and the lifting of the siege.
Now, Max, the UN has voted for an independent investigation into the violence in Gaza. Israel has already said it won't cooperate with this investigation. Do you think it'll change anything on the ground?
Well, the Goldstone report, which was the UN's fact-finding investigation in 2008, 2009, was never enforced, mainly thanks to U.S. sabotage. But it did change things dramatically. It documented Israeli human rights crimes, and it also documented Israeli incitement. And this is important and very notable because of the incitement that we're seeing in the current round. Jewish Home Party rising star Ayelet Shaked calling for a Palestinian genocide, the killing of Palestinian mothers to prevent them from producing quote-unquote little snakes. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu referring to Hamas as human animals. Dov Lior, the chief rabbi of Kiryat Arba, calling for the extermination of the residents of the Gaza Strip. Mordecai Kedar, the Israeli scholar, declaring that Palestinian men will only stop violently resisting Israel when their sisters are raped. And we've seen this rhetoric across the board in Israeli society as mobs take to the streets, attacking Israeli leftists and chanting death to Arabs.
Hey, Max,
facts on the ground are pouring out of Khan Yunis, and the investigative committee will have to...
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, but we're talking about incitement. The UN says that Hamas is also guilty of incitement. It is firing rockets at Israel. That 2009 UN Human Rights report said that Israel's military and Hamas had each committed potential war crimes during that offensive in 2008, 2009.
Well, the Israeli government has shown, the Israeli army has shown the capacity to carry out the incitement that is occurring at the highest level. It's not just in a vigilante capacity where we've seen the 17-year-old Mohammed Abu Khudair, the Palestinian teen from the Shufat neighborhood of East Jerusalem, forced to drink gasoline and burned alive in a revenge attack. It's the official revenge campaign on the Gaza Strip, which was presaged by Givati Brigade Commander Ofer Winter, declaring that this was not a military campaign about eliminating tunnels or depressing rocket fire. It was a holy war aimed at prosecuting and punishing blasphemy by the Muslim residents of the Gaza Strip. This is a top commander of the Israeli forces currently operating, and the atrocities that we're seeing unfold in Khan Yunis and other neighborhoods are not just the product of a draconian military strategy, they're also the product of a racist ideology. And that's what the incitement really reveals and why it's important to document and discuss, something the U.S. mainstream media has completely left out of the discussion, and deliberately so, because if its viewers heard these words, they wouldn't know what to do.
Max, once again, thanks for speaking to us. Max Blumenthal there in Washington, D.C.